All right, so for my Mercury moment, most memorable catch, I've got a lot of them, from saltwater catching giant tuna, but I think from a bass fishing standpoint, you gotta have to look at 2009 fishing on the Red River and winning the Bassmaster Classic. And I think it was like 1:18 p.m. in the afternoon. I flipped the jig up, slid it up along the side of that stump, and pulling that jigger across there and jacking a 4-pounder. I remember boat flipping that thing, and I'm just like, the adrenaline rush and realizing that that one fish made my dream come true. And that was a pretty powerful moment in my life right there.
Honestly, it happened yesterday. If you go to Bassmaster.com, it's on there. There's a video. It's here at Bass Fest on day 3. I caught a big one, about a 3.5-pounder over a boat dock, and it actually tied me for 12th place, but I lost the tiebreaker. But that was by far my best fish catch.
Probably my first fish over 10 pounds. I was, I think, 19 years old. I caught a 13.9 at Roosevelt Lake in Arizona.
Qualifying for the Elite Series. It was day 2 of the 3rd Northern Open on St. Clair. I had a decent first day. I knew I needed to have a decent finish to make it. And the second day I was really struggling. I only had 3 fish in my live well with like 20 minutes before I had to run back, and I ended up catching 2 like 3.5-pounders on back-to-back casts right at the end of the day, and that's how I qualified for the Elite Series, right down to the wire.
Most memorable, but at this tournament here at Texoma, we're going along there and hadn't had about an hour or 2. I was messing with my marshal. I said, I'm gonna flip it. That tree, it's gonna go to the bottom. When I pick it up, there's gonna be a 5-pounder on it. I flipped it in the tree, it went to the bottom, picked it up, one was pulling down on it. I caught the fish as a 5-pounder. He thought I was messing with him. He thought I'd hooked the tree, and I could see him as I was trying to fight the fish out of the tree. He was looking at me, looking at the tree, looking at me, looking at the tree. But after I got it in, he goes, I thought you was messing with me.
For me, the most memorable fish for sure is the year of 2012 when I won Angler of the Year. There's actually 2 fish, so I'm going to tell you both. One of them was, it was a 4-pounder I caught. It wasn't the biggest fish I caught at Toledo Bend when I won, but a lot of people might remember on Bassmaster TV, I'm reeling my spoon out of 25 feet of water, and a 4-pounder chases it to the boat. I got about this much line on my flipping stick. I dropped the spoon in the water, shook it, and the 4-pounder ate it, and I lifted it in the boat. And I knew then, when I put that fish in the boat, that I was probably going to win that tournament, and I did. The other one is the, people might remember, it's me fighting a smallmouth on the cover of Bassmaster magazine. And I remember that fish for sure. I caught it on a jerkbait, and I knew when I put that fish in the boat that I was going to have enough weight to make the top 12 at Oneida, and I knew if I made the top 12, I'd win Angler of the Year for sure. So those are my 2 most memorable fish for sure from 2012.
Most memorable fish I ever caught, I caught on Good Friday with my dad on some type of wooden rapala. I was 6 years old, and on pretty much back-to-back cast, I caught 7-pounders.
My most memorable fish actually is a salmon. I know crazy thinking salmon when I'm a bass fisherman, but here's the deal. I was 18 years old, just graduated high school, went out in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, fishing with my dad. We had like a boat that was kind of like mixed with ski fishing boat, and I sat out on the bow. I get a little woozy out there in the ocean, and that's why I prefer to freshwater fish, bass fish. I'm out there on the bow of the boat, and we had an El Nino come in, similar to what's going on out there now. And I'm looking out in front of me, and I see a killer whale come up right in front of the bow and go back down, and it just blew my mind. And moments after that, I hook into a salmon, it just starts going. And I'm thinking, man, I think I got the whale on or something, you know, and then it shoots out of the water, torpedoes. It turns out to be a state record, 47.5-pound salmon, Pacific Ocean state record when I brought it in. And, you know, I got a certificate from the Fish and Game, really cool deal. But, you know, just achieving those goals at a young age, you know, doing something that you know, everyone can talk about, it got in the papers, just, it really made it something I wanted to do. I knew at that moment I would definitely want to be a professional fisherman of some sort. Bass fishing's kind of what I really love to do, and that's what I'm doing. But you put a rod in my hand, and I'm just a happy camper.
Ooh, that'd have to be Man, really quick, that's hard. Probably after my first year guiding and fishing tournaments, I went back home and put, you know, we have a lot of farm ponds back home, and one of them, it kind of reminds me, we call it Little Falcon. It has a lot of wood like Falcon and everything, and it stays real dirty. And I told my dad, I said, knowing what I know now, after a year of doing this for a living, I can't wait to get back home. I'm going to catch a double digit. And sure enough, the fish are spawning, and I ended up catching a 10-pounder just in a little farm pond in Enid, Oklahoma. It was on a black and blue rodent. I'll never forget that fish.
You know, there's most memorable fish for me. There's a couple of them that really stand out. One of them is that 812 that I caught down at St. John's. It allowed me to win that tournament. The final day, I sat on that fish for almost 2 hours. Seen the fish the second day. There's another boats around. Didn't really want to mess with it. The wind was starting to blow. Couldn't hardly see her anymore, and I noticed my line swimming off. After 2 hours on this fish, I catch it 812, and I end up winning the Bassmaster Elite there on St. John's.